Hello guys, my name is Sergey, I'm a freediving instructor trainer, and today we're gonna continue our talk about freediving theory. On the last section we was talking about hyperventilation, why hyperventilation is absolutely unacceptable for the beginner and intermediate freedivers, despite the fact that some elite freedivers, especially in the static disciplines, they can do hyperventilation sometimes, but for you guys, if you're a beginner or intermediate freediver, if you're static, let's say less than 5 minutes or 6 minutes, or let's say even less than 7 minutes, in my opinion, hyperventilation is absolutely not necessary thing. And when we was talking about hyperventilation, we mentioned the hyperventilation increases the risk of the blackout. Again, if you do hyperventilation on one particular attempt, it doesn't guarantee that you're gonna have a blackout, but the chances is going to be higher. So you do hyperventilation, chances of having a blackout is higher. And today I want to talk specifically about the blackout. Actually, I already did the video about LMC blackout and shallow water blackout, I think last year, and the link to this video is going to be in the description and also somewhere here in the corner of this screen. And today I just want to refresh your knowledge, talk about one particular issue with the blackout. So just let me remind you that the blackout happens when there is a low oxygen in your body, so when your brain receives low oxygen. So you're holding your breath, the oxygen circulating inside your blood and it's taken by different tissues, and then the longer you hold your breath, then the oxygen is going to be lower and lower and lower, and at some point it's going to be so small amount of oxygen that your brain is shut down your body. So when the freediver have a blackout, it doesn't mean that freediver is dead, right? It just means that freediver becoming unconscious. So freediver just became unconscious. So the body is still working, the blood is still circulating, the brain still receives some oxygen, but freediver just unconscious. So don't take blackout lightly, but also don't think that this is a really bad for your health. At least there is no a direct science evidence that a few blackouts is gonna damage your brain, right? There is some speculation that if freediver have a big history of blackouts, maybe it have some kind of long-term effect, but still it is under the question. So what I want to talk today with you guys is if blackout is part of the freediving or not. Is it the part of the game or not? And the reason why I want to talk about this, because from time to time there is some beginners who is asking on the internet, is it really dangerous to have a blackout or not? And then there is answers. I don't know who exactly making such answers, but there is answers sometimes. No, just blackout is part of our game, so don't worry about that much. So it's totally fine, everyone having blackouts. And I completely disagree with such attitude towards blackout. So for me, blackouts is an emergency situation. Even when the freediver on a high level, let's say competitive freediver who competing for a few years already on a high level, such guys from time to time, it's true, they have a blackout. If you're a beginner or intermediate freediver, someone who just learning how to freedive, someone who practicing freediving less than a few years, for you to have such emergency, in my opinion, is absolutely unacceptable. And again, recently I read it on the internet, on the Facebook, and it's just so ridiculous that some guy was posting, just finished my level 2 course and I only have a couple of LMC and 1 blackout. Just finished level 2 course, it means that practicing freediving for a few weeks maximum and already have a couple of LMC and blackouts. This just drives me crazy. Why you so hate your body and why you so hate your brain that you want to put your body under such emergency conditions, right? So you can ask me, Sergey, how many blackouts in your school you have? Let me answer this. Our school, our Crystal Freediving School on Ko Tao, operates more than 4 years. And we already done hundreds of courses for any levels. Level 1, level 2, level 3, instructor courses, all courses. And the amount of the blackouts on our courses is 0. Like, we never have a blackouts, not in a static, not in dynamic, not in a depth. It doesn't mean that we're never gonna have it, right? All of our instructors, include me, ready to react in case of emergency, right? So we are there with our students, we're ready to provide safety. But again, because the safety is absolutely priority, the safety of our students is absolutely priority for us, there is never any case of blackouts in our school. So what I'm trying to say is that it is absolutely possible to avoid blackouts for a really long period of time, even while you keep improving. For example, you can take my example. I'm not the best freediver in the world, obviously. I'm not really competitive freediver, but I'm training, I try to improve. Let's say my favorite discipline is dynamic bifins. I did 170 and my plan was, before the pool was closed, to do 180. And how many blackouts I have? 0. So it means that it's possible. It only depends how much you want to push yourself, how much you want to reach some crazy numbers without putting actual training. Another things which I want to say is why, in my opinion, people have these blackouts in the beginning of this career. I mean, obviously they have a blackout because low oxygen, but why this situation happens? And in my opinion, it's pretty often happens. First, it is a mistake of the instructor, when instructor is just pushing the students or allow his students to push themselves. And another, why this person is pushing themselves, quite often is dependence on this number, right? So you want to show someone on your computer, on your picture, in your social media, that you hold your breath for 6 minutes. Imagine that you're gonna hold your breath without watch, right? So you're training static and there is never a dive computer who is which is checking how long you're holding your breath. I think the amount of blackouts is going to be close to the 0, right? And only when you know that someone is measuring you and you have a 3 minutes yesterday and it was already hard and you want to have a 3:30 today, then the chance of the blackout can be high. So what is my advice how to avoid blackout? Don't push your body too much, this is pretty obvious. And be careful with your progress. Try to improve your technique, not your numbers, right? So for example, if you're talking about, let's say, dynamic, instead of always trying to swim further, try to be more focused on your technique, how streamlined you are, what about your buoyancy? Is your buoyancy correct? What about your kicking? What about your turning? So try to improve these things and then the numbers will rise automatically. Okay guys, this is it what I was thinking to talk today. Again, the bottom line, if you're just learning freediving, blackouts should be absolutely avoided by any means. And again, if it is in a freediving school, then your instructor is responsible for this. But if you're training with your body, then just make sure you're not pushing yourself too much. Make sure that first you're learning relaxation, you're first learning technique, etc., etc. And only after that you can think about the numbers itself. Okay guys, hopefully this video was useful. If it was useful, as always, I'm asking you to click the like button and I will see you next time.